Hi, I'm Nat.
And I'm Guy, and we got all your pop culture and news of the day.
Yes.
What are some of the big stories for tonight?
So Jennifer Lopez and the ridiculousness of celebrity Nepo babies.
Yeah, and I think it's less about Jennifer Lopez and more about the parenting of the Hollywood elites and how their children wind up lost and a little bit confused.
Yes, and
we have Trump. What did he do today?
he signed an executive order?
Yeah, he signed another executive order regarding elections. So this is going to have a huge effect on the United States.
Yes.
If there's no challenges.
Yes, and we do have 2 initial comments. Thank you so much. Rafa says, first comment, thank you so much for always being here. And Nicolas Najera Hartman says, it's complicated to start on YouTube, more if you get your content hidden, but wish you lots of success. You do a very good job. So thank you so much for that. And it is complicated.
We tried our first clip yesterday and it was an utter fail, but we're slowly getting it together. We're going to try another one in a few days, I think.
Yes.
But why don't we get your 20 minutes in Spanish?
Sure. So, hold on. Ahí estamos. ¿Cómo les va esta noche? Y así es. Tengo que voltearme para caber bien en la cámara. Ay, espérenme. Ahí estamos. Entonces, sí, noticias aún más ridículas de lo que ya son las celebridades de por sí. Pues la hija de Jennifer López ahora parece ser no binaria y todas estas celebridades que tienen hijos que pues se deciden ser no binarias porque no tienen nada mejor que hacer y porque pues siempre tienen que ser diferentes. Y obviamente en este caso las celebridades que son los padres tienen que pues irse con la corriente porque si no pues obviamente los corren de Hollywood y de pues cualquiera otra trabajo o cosa que tengan que hacer. Y parece que recientemente salieron Jennifer López y su hija, voy a decir, pero su hija, que tiene con Marc Anthony, que es parte de una dupla, es una niña y un niño, son gemelos, pero parece que ahora la niña es no binaria. Y es los hijos que tiene con Marc Anthony, y también sabemos que pues su relación con Ben Affleck ha estado para arriba y para abajo, pero me quiero enfocar más bien en toda digamos, pues sí, es como un trend, es como está de moda que ahora todos los hijos de todas las celebridades o casi sean no binarias o tengan algo especial, porque ya solo ser nepo babies y solo salir a emborracharse y hacer pura estupidez en Hollywood, pues ya no es suficiente. Ahora hay que ser aún más interesante y diferente y etcétera. Entonces, pues esta es la hija de Jennifer López y muy orgullosa Jennifer López ahí con su engendro. Y pues sí, han hecho en varias ocasiones gran fiesta y han hecho grandes comunicados en el escenario también. Cantaron juntos hace no tanto tiempo y salió Jennifer López a decir que su hija es no binaria y bla, bla, bla. Y parece que también pues no es nada más por coincidencia ni casualidad, porque la hija de Ben Affleck y Jennifer, no es Aniston, ¿cómo se llama? Jennifer Garner, que fue su primera esposa, pues también es no binaria. Entonces estas dos son las mejores amigas del mundo y pues obviamente es un ejemplo para que lo podemos hacer macro hacia todo lo que está pasando en el mundo en general, en especial con estas nuevas generaciones que pues empieza una a identificarse como no binaria y luego la otra y la otra y la otra, y por eso se puede considerar que es como un contagio social y que también tiene que ver mucho con pues todo lo que se consume, pero también todo lo que les están enseñando estas escuelas nuevas con nuevas ideas. Entonces, parece que Jennifer López ha llamado la atención en los últimos meses y lo que ha llamado la atención es su hija, y me da risa que aquí en el artículo dicen hija, pero pues debería ser hije, supongo, si es no binaria, pero pues deciden mantener razón y la verdad. Fueron captados junto a su mamá en el red carpet del estreno de Broadway de la obra de Otelo. Y lejos de acaparar el foco mediático solo por ser hija de J-Lo y Marc Anthony, Em ha causado curiosidad entre el público debido a su estilo tomboy. Y aquí también me quiero enfocar en, no sé si se acuerdan, hace bastante tiempo una de las hijas de Angelina Jolie también se empezó a vestir pues como niñito y estaba pasando por una fase y luego pues no pasó a mayores y ahora aparece como súper femenina y como niña. Y también me parece que es una de las gemelas de que tuvo con Brad Pitt. Pero a lo que voy es que en este ejemplo con Angelina Jolie, no dejó que su hija transicionara o que empezara a tomar bloqueadores de pubertad ni hormonas del sexo opuesto, pero muchos padres de familia y muchas mamás y papás que no saben qué hacer cuando sus hijos salen del closet y les dicen que son no binarias o que se quieren cortar o poner o quitar o empezar a tomar cosas para volverse el otro género, que es imposible y sabemos que biológicamente es imposible, pero cuando eso pasa, los doctores y los terapeutas y los psicólogos y toda esta red de personas de apoyo que normalmente deberían de estar ahí para pues decirle al niño o niña como no, estás pasando por una fase, piénsalo bien, no hay que empezar a medicalizar tan rápido porque tiene efectos que te van a durar toda la vida. Puede tener efectos en tu formación ósea, puede tener efectos en la formación de tu cerebro, pero no, en vez los transicionan inmediatamente, hacen esta cosa que es el modelo afirmativo, donde solo les pueden decir, sí, todo lo que tú piensas, todo lo que tú sientes es cierto, si eres una niña y te sientes como niño, es completamente natural y vamos a empezar a hacer terapias y etcétera para ayudarte, que en realidad pues los está volviendo pacientes médicos de por vida. Y los dejan entrar más y más en este hoyo del cual es muy difícil salir, en especial si se hacen cirugías o si empiezan a tomar medicamentos. En los ejemplos de celebridades con hijos que son no binarios o trans, tienen la opción de pues saber por lo menos un poco más o llevarlos a diferentes terapeutas que los traten no solo con el modelo afirmativo, pero por ejemplo con Angelina Jolie pues nunca estuvo medicalizada su hija y nunca tuvo que hacer el proceso de transicionar, nada más pues estaba tratando de vestirse diferente y de acercarse al género opuesto y siendo pues diferente y alterna, que le pasa a todo el mundo cuando es adolescente. Pero el problema es que se vuelven, pues, obviamente, ejemplos mediáticos y después ya la gente normal, pues, lo que hace es querer imitar, porque ahora son los padres de familia los que son fans de los padres de estos nuevos nepo babies no binarios y creen que la mejor opción es lo que le dicen los doctores o les dicen los maestros de sus hijos y se vuelve, pues, esta problema crónico que ahora tiene la sociedad, en especial en Estados Unidos, Canadá, etcétera, en el Reino Unido. Aunque ya se han tomado pasos para empezar a entender las consecuencias y problemas reales que tienen todos estos tratamientos innovadores, que en realidad no son nada innovadores y pueden llevar a los hijos a aún más depresión y aún más problemas mentales, digamos. Y una de las líneas que muchos de los doctores les dicen a los papás es que si no afirmamos el nuevo género de tu hijo o hija y no ayudamos a que transicione, pues puede tomar la decisión de quitarse la vida. Y eso es mera manipulación y han salido estudios recientemente, y quiero hacer un video sobre esto también, que básicamente desmienten toda este rollo que se echan los doctores con los papás y realmente casi todas las personas que toman el paso de transicionar y medicalizarse y etcétera terminan aún peor mentalmente que los que deciden echarse para atrás o no seguir adelante con los tratamientos hasta su conclusión. Entonces, pues ahora con esta señorita en la mira, la hija de Jennifer López, les voy a enseñar rápido. Era muy bonita, y si se acuerdan del show del Super Bowl que hizo J-Lo con Shakira, que Shakira lo hizo mejor que ella, pero bueno, pues se veía como niña y se veía muy feliz y cantaba y etcétera, y la subió al escenario, y esto fue en 2022 apenas, pero ahora se identifica como no binario y como dije, y aquí es donde están cantando en el escenario juntas, cuando dijo Esto es lo que dijo Jennifer López y me da mucha risa cómo suena en español más de cómo suena en inglés, porque los pronombres son un poco menos importantes en inglés. Pero esto dijo Jennifer López: la última vez que actuamos juntos fue en un gran estudio como este y les pido que canten conmigo todo el tiempo. Así que esta es una ocasión muy especial. Ella está muy ocupada, es reservada, me cuesta mucho cuando ella sale, pero vale cada centavo porque es mi socia directa favorita de todos los tiempos. Y ahí está otra vez. Y también algo que menciono rápido es que Jennifer López siempre quiere más atención. Claramente lo ha inculcado en sus hijos también. Y Jennifer López, si no se acuerdan, hizo un video y es parte de toda esta bola de celebridades que se dicen ser latinas, pero no son latinas. Bueno, ahora tiene aún otro puntito de victimización porque es madre de un adolescente no binaria, bla, bla, bla. Y justo a esto voy también con eso de que es pegajoso toda esta ideología trans, de género, etcétera, porque es muy amiga de la hija de Ben Affleck y Jennifer Garner, que se llama Finn, se cambió el nombre a Finn. Se llamaba Serafina y aquí están juntas, y claramente pues se parece bastante y se van tomando la una de la otra. Y así pasa entre grupos de amigas. Lo he visto con adolescentes con los cuales yo trabajé cuando trabajé en una escuela, donde una tiene la idea y luego se lo van pasando y ahora todos son trans o no binarios o por lo menos parte de la comunidad alfabeto, porque no tienen nada mejor que hacer, en especial cuando tienen este nivel de celebridad y este nivel de atención. Y ha de ser difícil también, porque pues también vimos que antes pues, todo lo que hacían era salir y emborracharse y hacer pura estupidez. Ahora están haciendo estupidez con sus propios cuerpos y quieren que el resto del mundo respete sus problemas mentales. Y pues en este artículo de Elle vemos que Naomi Watts, Ben Affleck, es todo un artículo sobre los famosos que tienen hijos que se identifican como no binarios. Y obviamente para los famosos es bueno e importante publicitarlo porque les da más puntitos justamente de víctima o de aliades o como le quieran decir. Pero hay toda una lista que hizo Elle sobre, y aquí están las dos, Jennifer López y Amy, Ben Affleck y Finn. También Naomi Watts tiene una hija que, hijo, perdón. Es que se parece hija. Y que transicionó. También Angelina Jolie Shiloh, esa era la que quería decir, que ahora ya no se identifica como trans y ya han salido también a decir que no es trans, no es no binaria, es una niña y es femenina y le gusta todo lo que hace. Pink, obviamente, una de las celebridades más insufribles y progres que existen. Y Mark Ruffalo también. Y también el actor que es parte de la serie de Doctor Who ha sido súper vocal sobre qué tan no binaria es su hija y qué tan aliado es y va y da pláticas. Y Mark Ruffalo también, otro que es insufrible. Y pues la verdad están usando a sus hijos para ser más interesantes. Y otra que está usando a sus hijos para ser más interesante y me pareció absolutamente asqueroso. Y justamente ayer estaba hablando de esta red social que empieza OF, donde las personas suben fotos y videos y les pagan por eso, y con fotos y videos interesantes, diré. Denise Richards, si no se acuerdan quién es la ex esposa de Charlie Sheen, el actor de Two and a Half Men, que se volvió loco por un rato y tuvo un break mental y psicológico, pero ahora parece que ya está un poco mejor. Pero su ex esposa y su hija, ahora las dos tienen un perfil donde venden fotos suyas con poca ropa, digamos, y haciendo cosas pues no muy aptas para el internet. No puedo decir ahorita qué es lo que hacen, pero Denise Richards anunció que siguió el ejemplo de su hija Sammy. Pues qué ejemplo y qué ejemplo le habrá dado, y sabemos en qué tipo de cosas y roles Denise Richards ha estado involucrada a lo largo de su carrera, siempre usando su cuerpo y su belleza, digamos, para venderse a todo el mundo, y se animó a abrir su propia cuenta de esta red social asquerosa. La actriz estadounidense dijo a través de su cuenta que ya se encuentra registrada en la plataforma de contenido explícito por suscripción, y hubo un escándalo también porque curiosamente Charlie Sheen, que era visto como el que siempre andaba con mujeres de la noche y que siempre estaba haciendo cosas locas, de hecho salió a decir que no le parecía que su hija estuviera vendiéndose por internet. Y pues hizo un gran escándalo, más o menos, cuando empezaron a salir las fotos y la historia de que su hija estaba haciendo esto y dijo que él no estaba de acuerdo con eso y podría ser consecuencia del divorcio y de padres que también siempre están ocupados. Puede ser, porque lo que dijo Sammy en una serie que acaban de sacar junto con su mamá es que tenía 2 opciones de trabajo, o eso o trabajar en una dulcería porque no sabía hacer nada más. Y eso sí, pues es negligencia parental, tengo que decirlo. Y pues qué triste que ahora, en vez de decirle y darle el ejemplo a su hija de que tal vez vender tu cuerpo no es la mejor idea, en especial cuando apenas tienes 18 años, pues en vez se unió a ella y ahora decidió también encuerarse para que le paguen por eso. Y pues también ayer hablé de las consecuencias terribles que sufren algunas de las personas, obviamente no con este nivel de celebridad, pero personas, mujeres normales, también hombres supongo, que empiezan a venderse por internet en esta red social de contenido explícito que empieza con OF y que terminan pues en situaciones muy peligrosas, a veces en redes de trata de ¿cómo lo puedo decir? De que los muevan del lugar sin su propio consentimiento. Y hay redes masivas de esto en todo el mundo y les ofrecen trabajo y les mienten, les dicen que les van a pagar muchísimo dinero y luego acaban quién sabe dónde, perdidas por quién sabe cuánto tiempo o aún con peor consecuencias, además de tener todo ese contenido explícito ahora en línea para quien lo quiera ver para siempre y OnlyFans, la red social que no puedo decir, se queda con todo, también es propietario y dueño de todo el contenido que suben a esa red social para siempre. Entonces, podría haberse puesto a hacer modelaje. También dijo hace poco Sammy, la hija de Dennis Richards, que ahora estaba teniendo problemas para encontrar trabajos de modelaje justamente porque ahora estaba metida en esta red social y las marcas pues ya no querían ese tipo de asociación tan fuerte con este contenido explícito. Entonces, no lo abran. Si eres mujer y no ves de otra, pues trata de buscar de otra porque ese tipo de decisiones pueden parecer muy fáciles al momento y terminan siendo de las más difíciles y más problemáticas que vas a haber hecho en tu vida. Entonces, a menos de que estés 100% segura de que es algo que quieres hacer, pero ahí también diría que ni siquiera aplica, piénsenlo muy bien, piénsenlo 2 veces y también piensen muy bien si quieren consumir ese tipo de contenido y quieren apoyar ese tipo de generación moral, digamos. Pero bueno, por ahora nada más traía estas 2 historias porque estoy editando un video sobre la trayectoria, la historia y la importancia del mensaje que nos deja Blancanieves original, justamente porque ahora que salió la nueva Blancanieves y el desastre que ha sido, me pareció importante pues sí hacer, porque creo que no mucha gente se sabe la historia de cómo empezó toda la película de Blancanieves de 1937, entonces espero que ese video salga mañana, espérenlo mañana, pero si no, pues espero que tengan una excelente noche y ya lo sacaré cuando se pueda. Déjenme ver si hay algún comentario. ¿Dónde estoy? Ay, tenemos muchos comentarios, espérenme. Walker dice, llevo siguiendo estos temas desde hace mucho y hasta pensé que entendía estas cosas woke hasta que en 2017 escuché el término aliado en las feministas y ahí dije, no pertenezco a eso, exactamente. Rafa, mi mente no comprende cómo le hacen esto a sus propios hijos, es de lo más enfermo y aberrante, y es porque están enfermos y son aberrantes los padres y porque necesitan atención y necesitan que alguien les diga que lo están haciendo muy bien y que son excelentes padres por ser tan abiertos, y son tan abiertos que como Mark Ruffalo, y fue uno de los ejemplos, se les cae el cerebro. Entonces Walker también dice, a pesar de los últimos años, lo woke ha perdido popularidad en estos últimos años. Creo que esta corriente está lejos de detenerse, ya que en su fuerza viene de la academia como los psicólogos, exactamente, y hay grandes asociaciones y muchas universidades, escuelas, asociaciones profesionales han sido capturadas por esta ideología y por virus woke que lentamente se está empezando a sacar, pero pues sigue ahí y todavía hay mucha gente con poder que quiere seguir dominando. Ay, me pegué con el micrófono. Quiere seguir dominando y quiere seguir teniendo este tipo de ideas. Y Rafa, rápido, es por eso que el bullying es necesario. Y lo dije hace bastante tiempo. No que todo el bullying sea necesario, pero sí por lo menos tener algún estándar social y poder dejar que resuelvan sus problemas a veces solos. Por eso también hay muchos niños que hoy en día no saben qué hacer cuando salen al mundo real. Por eso hay personas de generación Z que los terminan teniendo que despedir rápidamente en cuanto entran a trabajar porque esperan que todo sea hecho por ellos y no aguantan ningún tipo de crítica. Cuando sí tienes que vivir con por lo menos tantita crítica en tu, no sé, no día a día, pero en tu mes a mes, por lo menos aceptar que no haces todo perfecto, ayuda. Pero bueno, todos los días comparto @C, dice todos los días comparto su contenido ya que aporta bastante en tiempos del wokismo. Gracias, y eso es lo que estamos tratando de hacer por acá. Y de hablar de temas que por mucho tiempo, por ejemplo, yo no vi que fueran tocados por, o que yo por lo menos no encontraba creadores de contenido que hablaran sobre estos temas. Y no sé si dije, pero Rafa, mil gracias por el superchat. Ahí se me fue la cámara. Mil gracias por el superchat. Y bueno, ahora sí ya me callo, vámonos con la sección en inglés. Pero sí, el bullying, pero no cuando lleva a consecuencias físicas o cuando lastima físicamente a alguien. Para eso métanlas a jiu-jitsu y que aprendan a pelear y que así se desahoguen. Pero algo de bullying sí es bueno, pero no cuando lleva ya a consecuencias terribles. Pero sí, ya me callo en español. Buenas noches, muchísimas gracias. Y ahora sí nos vamos con la sección en inglés. Los subtítulos están prendidos y luego de aquí nos pasamos a Rumble. Ya el link está abajo. Sorry. There we go.
Okay, and we're back.
Yes.
There was quite a bit you had to say about the Jennifer Lopez story.
Yeah, well, I was trying to relate it to, and I just kind of spoke quickly. I was just kind of stream of consciousness talking.
Well, I kind of put it up there to bring the subject up, and it seemed like you had quite a bit of passion about it.
Well, yeah, because that is one of the main things that kind of even got me into all of this, other than the terrible times of 2020 and 2021 and being locked in and having to suffer through all of that. But other than that, one of the main things that has always interested me is this like crazy wokeism that ends up with people. Oh, hold on. There we go. That ends up with people doing terrible decisions, especially to themselves and their children, and how it has infected not only society, but also institutions, and it's really ingrained in there. Because I saw it happening in my day-to-day.
Yeah.
When I worked at a school and when I worked at,
especially
when I went to university as well.
Especially in Vancouver, Canada.
Yes.
It's just,
that's kind of one of the inception points where all of this starts.
And I think it was the inception point for a lot of people in Western culture. Mm-hmm. It's when it really started affecting their kids. But then it was very interesting to see how some parents just got completely on board with this brainwashing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we'll switch to the article.
And they do it so it can be interesting. Yes, let me just get it ready. Hold on.
Okay, and the first one's the one you already talked about, but I guess we'll review it in English so I can learn a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, so you can say something about it as well. Okay.
Perfect.
There we go. So Jennifer Lopez and Child M step out together.
You can move over a little bit? Perfect.
Step out together in coordinating looks at star-studded Broadway opening of Othello in New York City. And the main story here is that, yes, Jennifer Lopez has a non-binary child. Oh, where am I?
Yeah, but I was reading this morning, and it didn't surprise me she had a non-binary child, but then the article said the child had turned non-binary when she married Ben Affleck, and then it went on to say Ben Affleck has a child that's non-binary.
I said that is one of the ways that this whole non-binary thing happens, is amongst groups of friends, it is a social contagion.
Yeah.
Because, and as, I forgot her name, but Lisa Littman, I think is her name. There's an investigative reporter that initially came up with the term rapid onset gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of these people apparently have, but it is also stemming from a social contagion and from wanting to belong. And that's why you do see a lot of it happening where groups of teenage girls will all of a sudden all be trans, or some are trans, or some are lesbians. And
that was the thing. It used to be all like this contagion would happen with men, and it was pretty rare before, or young or
well, it wasn't
boys.
A contagion. The gender dysphoria.
Yeah, but it would happen with boys. Now it's happening on scale with girls in mass for this generation. That's kind of the indication that it is a social contagion.
Yes, and there is a great book. If you don't know about her, you can watch interviews with her. Her book is also available in Spanish, but her name is Abigail Schreier, and it's called Irreversible Damage, and it specifically focuses on the consequences and what leads up to young girls having this gender dysphoria and then being transitioned by a system that doesn't care about anything but making money and medicalizing everything.
Well, I remember when we started the channel, it was all pandemic-related stuff, as well as the trucker protests, and then this subject matter.
Yes, because and I've mentioned it.
It was all in English, though.
Yeah, it was all in English, so you can go back and watch me talk about that. But yes, I was also helped quite a bit, and I worked a little bit with Billboard Chris, who is an activist specifically against children transitioning.
Oh, he got arrested today.
Oh,
yeah.
He did?
Yeah, I don't know what country it was. I think it was Australia.
Oh, he was in Australia.
Yeah,
yes.
I think it was Australia for speech again.
Oh, of course.
So
Australia.
In a lot of these countries, they have crazy speech laws. You get arrested for memes. So when you're wearing a billboard outside and you're speaking freely, they really crack down on them. But that's kind of his plan and how to grow his social media and himself and the message.
In the end, it helps him because it helps spread his message. But if you don't know who Billboard Chris is, go follow him on X. And he wears a very simple message that says children should not take puberty blockers, which is, I think everybody should be okay with that. And we are seeing a shift slightly, but with celebrities, I mean, they do love to be self-important. And yes, the main thing with this story is just that Jennifer Lopez is so proud about how non-binary their child is.
Wait, I got to say one thing. Okay. We have to remember she was dating Puff Daddy for a long time.
Oh, yes.
So did that have an influence? Because a lot of these people that do transition at a young age, there was sexual... How would you say it?
They were not treated properly when they were children.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, so we're trying to watch our language here.
But yes, so, I mean, she is part of twin couplet, so she has a twin brother. The brother, I think, is fine. Why are you pushing me?
To center you on your camera.
I have to go this way. There we go. And what I also remarked was that, I don't know if the picture is here. I think I might have it here. Here's her other son.
Is that daughter or son?
He looks well-adjusted. Son. So she had a daughter and a son.
Okay.
They're twins. But what I also wanted to remark was that Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's kids are both non-binary, and they have the strongest friendship. And they identify as non-binary, and because they share a similar age, they can rely on each other.
Yeah,
and here they are.
This is the thing, like, that's a toxic relationship, at least from the outside looking in. Ben Affleck does not look happy, and I think that their kids have this connection, probably keeps them in each other's lives. Mm-hmm. So, and she keeps bringing him back. She seems like a completely toxic woman to him. And if I had any advice for Ben Affleck, it would be get as far away as you can.
There were reports they might divorce, but I think nothing.
But even if they divorce, they just keep coming back together. They've already done it once.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, it does exemplify pretty beautifully, in a great way, how young girls can kind of make each other do stupid things like this, and how the contagion spreads amongst teenagers.
Oh yeah, that was quite a long time because we did that in Spanish as well. So let's move through some of these other stories. We got a lot of stories today. So
I had another one, but we're also on YouTube, so I can't really say too much about it.
Okay, let's go into the regular culture news that's pretty safe on YouTube before we head over to the Green Monster.
Sure, the Green Monster.
Okay, so we got Andor Season 2 trailer.
Yes, hold on. I'm trying to adjust it.
Okay, so I'll talk about it while she's adjusting the article. We got the Andor Season 2 trailer just kind of released. I didn't actually watch Andor Season 1. I kind of gave up on Disney Star Wars and everything related, but when I seen this article, it popped up into the stories today. I took a look at the trailer, and actually the trailer looked somewhat amazing. It looks much more dark, much more oriented towards adults. And WDW Pro is another channel that kind of covers Disney. This is one of the series they actually cover episode by episode. So I think they may have liked season 1. I may actually have to check out season 1 after seeing this. Also, I think Robert Barnes had recommended Andor as a political revolutionary storyline that he really liked.
I mean, Diego Luna being...
He's from Mexico as well, so we're from Mexico.
Yes, he's also pretty woke and annoying, but, I mean, he's good. He's fine.
Oh, by the way, there's a huge storm going on right now, so if the power goes out, the stream may go down, just so everybody's aware.
It hasn't stopped raining for a while now, but...
Okay, and also, I looked at Andor Season 1 on Rotten Tomatoes when I was preparing for this story today, and it had a huge rating of 96% for critics and 86% for audiences. So that's high on both levels. Yeah. Sometimes they can manipulate the score with the critics, but audience scores are really hard to manipulate. Okay, let's go into the next one. This is Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes. So, Gwyneth Paltrow's remarks about intimacy coordinators slammed as irresponsible.
And this was kind of interesting because she was telling she didn't want the intimacy coordinator. She wanted him to take a step back and get away because she felt uncomfortable. But
because having someone stare at you and tell you how to make out and where to touch who.
That's what I kind of originally thought, because this story actually popped up a few days ago. But then I started thinking about it because it popped up again, and so I was like, okay, I'll put it on here. And Hollywood's infamous for the casting couch and things like this. And I was just watching Brendan Fraser and how he got groped by somebody that had a lot of power. So having an intimacy coordinator, I think, really is going to help avoid lawsuits and things like this for movies and any controversy. So I think it's more of they need to watch their own back.
I mean, other actors have said that it can get kind of more awkward, because usually when it's intimate scenes, you try to have a very small crew. Yeah. Small crew when you're filming those kinds of scenes, and having one more person coming in and saying you can touch here, you can't touch there. Some people have said it makes everything take way longer, but
better uncomfortability than having a lawsuit.
Yes.
Or not even.
They're covering their.
They're
literally covering their butts. But so Caroline Hollick, a former drama boss at Channel 4, has described Gwyneth Paltrow's remarks about intimacy coordinators as irresponsible. The actor spoke recently about her intimate scenes with Timothée Chalamet in Josh Safdie's Marty Supreme, and said that she felt very stifled by the presence of an intimacy coordinator. We said, I think we're good. You can step back a little bit. And I mean, it also depends on what kind of intimacy coordinator it is. It could be someone that's on top of you and saying, no, you were supposed to put your hand here instead of here.
Well, also, there's a huge age gap here. And I know absolutely nothing about the movie because they didn't even talk about what movie it was for, I believe. But this is more feminism being injected into movies.
I mean, that is how it started. And it started during the whole Me Too era. And I mean, I keep coming back to it, but if you haven't watched Candace Owens' series starting to cover the whole Harvey Weinstein scandal, there might be true that some of those things that he was put in jail for might have not been 100% true or 100% verified before the court decided to put him in jail.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
that's how all this started.
There's a lot of facts that came out in that kind of documentary series Candace did, and
it's not even done yet.
The Me Too movement was. People didn't realize what was happening at first, but it was a dogpile of lawsuits that were all coordinated at the same time, so people would just assume guilt. And it looks like a lot of things that came out about Harvey Weinstein may not have been as portrayed.
Yes.
Not that he's any kind of angel.
No, of course not. And he's still a raging leftist. So.
Okay, and we've been covering this story a lot, so maybe let's cover it quickly here. It's the box office. The Snow White is entering potential bomb territory, and I think we all kind of knew this. We've talked about it over and over and over. But if there is a 50% drop off in this upcoming week's box office, it is going to be considered an official bomb.
Yeah, and you keep saying that you think it's going to get removed really quickly. I think it's going to have legs, and they're going to keep it on because there's not much else coming out until May for children, which is Lilo and Stitch. I mean, there's that Minecraft movie.
But they've already pulled the marketing for Snow White, so I already see that the writing's on the wall here.
I guess so. Disney's temple opened to near disastrous numbers considering its mega budget. Is there still a chance for a fairy tale ending? No. because the more people go see it, the more people see how horrible it is.
Well, yeah, and this kind of blends into the next story, so maybe I'll just start talking about it now. But this was... critics originally said it was because of political reasons this movie was going to fail. Now they're quietly admitting it has less to do with politics and more to do with a horrible movie.
Yes.
They can't stand by the line that this is a political cancellation for two reasons, actually. Number one, everybody's seen the movie and they know it's terrible on almost every level. But number two, that article we covered yesterday about red states and blue states, I had a chance to fully read over it now, and it wasn't saying what I thought it was saying.
What was it saying?
It was saying the red states are actually the ones that went to watch Snow White more than blue states.
Well, yeah, to go hate on it.
Well, no, because in red states they have more children.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you have to bring one of your kids, then you have to bring both of them if you have two, and then you're probably going to bring the whole family, which is 4 tickets. So people in blue states that are going to watch this are probably going to hate watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. I think it might get a lot of views just from like people that want to hate watch it and hate on it. But it also, I mean, yes, I think it was political in the beginning with all of the backlash and all the things that started happening with Snow White and all the news that started coming out about Snow White. But eventually it kind of, now that it's out, a lot of people are saying, well, maybe the people that we called racist and horrible people might have been right because it is a horrible movie.
Yeah.
So it actually helps to prove a point that by focusing only on hyper woke, hyper divisive, hyper feminist, and not very well-rounded characters, and making that the sole focus of your movie, it doesn't make a good movie. It just makes a convoluted mess. So it helps exemplify why for so long, so many people have been against all of this insanity of DEI in the film industry.
Yeah, I do think when it goes to streaming, it's going to probably catch a little bit of fire. That's when people are going to want to hate watch it. Yeah. I don't think they want to spend $10 or $20 to go to a theater to hate watch it right now, especially with
the thing too.
Especially with the amount of bad reviews.
And it happened with Moana as well, and with Encanto a little bit. That was during the pandemic, but because I can't say the word like on YouTube, but. That also happened with that, where a lot of people were just waiting till it came to streaming, and then they got really big numbers. But hopefully they don't, because it is that bad.
And the next story actually involves streaming.
Yes. So YouTube unseats Disney atop Nielsen's February TV distributor ranking. So that is pretty big.
Yeah.
It's not the first time it happens, but...
Yeah, YouTube is just a powerhouse in the streaming industry, and people don't really realize it.
And the TV, because now they have their whole, in the States, they have this YouTube TV thing, where they actually stream TV channels. Yeah,
there's over the next 5 years, they're supposed to transition the way YouTube's really laid out, and they want to bring it a completely different way of recommending movies, recommending bigger distributors, things like this. So it's going to be interesting what they do. We use currently YouTube and the Green Monster to kind of stream on, and I can't, as much as I don't like the fact that we can't speak freely on YouTube, the formatting and the amount of data they give us back that kind of really help us make the best possible content we can is really helpful. The Green Monster is just, they spend a lot of money on getting content creators and things like this, but the actual, what would you say, the interface of the website is horrible for not only users, but it's even worse for content creators.
Yeah, the user interface.
Yeah, this is coming from somebody that likes the Green Monster, and I like how freely I can speak on there. So if it was a better interface, I would much prefer to be on that platform, but it's not.
They make it so complicated, so difficult to want to use it because it is sometimes almost unusable, but their whole ethos and their whole idea and their morals are right there. So maybe, RUMBLE should stop spending money on trying to bring in the biggest content creators and just let the good content creators come in, make good content, and then focus on bettering the user experience. Because without users, you have nothing. And
they have no real way of pushing small content creators out. Yeah. That's the thing. And YouTube really does, and it really helps build you step by step. There was one more thing. Oh, even the ads on
Rumble?
Is just cringe.
Yes, they're very annoying, and they've had a lot of trouble getting any kind of advertisers for RUMBLE.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next story.
I was just going to say, YouTube hit a record 11.6% of all TV viewing in February. According to the latest edition of Nielsen's media distributor Gauge report, that put the Google-owned video giant in the number one spot ahead of Disney. The 11.6 stat had been released as part of their February recap, but Tuesday's rankings measure by distributor.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time before bigger TV networks realize what Piers Morgan kind of did, and then they can do the same thing. And YouTube is really coveting the CNN and big news networks from all around the world. They really want professionally curated content, not from small distributors. They're looking after the big dogs, and they want to bring them over to YouTube, and that's why they really push them when they get them over. So it's not the best for us, but I can see pretty soon I would expect to see a huge influx of mainstream network TV coming over to YouTube.
And they already started.
It's kind of started, but
but
they don't know how to.
Not as YouTube videos. They're coming over as network shows that you can stream.
Yeah.
Because YouTube has this whole YouTube TV thing.
Yeah, but Piers Morgan kind of did it a little bit differently, and I think that's the new kind of equation that the bigger networks are going to figure out soon here.
Mm-hmm. And Rafa is asking, just curious, why did you choose Grumble over the others, BitChute, Odyssey, etc.?
As much as I don't like the interface and stuff,
it is the better one.
It's the most free speech, and it really protects free speech.
Odyssey does too, but when we were uploading to Odyssey, and we even, I believe, still have a page, but it became essentially impossible to both sync it to YouTube and to when we uploaded, they weren't showing. So I don't know if they've changed it since the last time I tried it. I mean, I can start uploading again. But
also, Rumble's big enough where they've actually been challenged by other governments, and they've stood up. The French government, they told them to change certain content and censor certain things. They absolutely refused and said, "You can take us out of France." And that's their stance. They want...
yes, ideologically, they are also very strong and kind of the messaging that we agree with, but at the same time, they are the closest to YouTube in terms of ability to upload consistently and for it to not take 500 hours to upload, which was happening with Odyssey at least.
And I think there's two more things. They have the most money behind them, so they have the most potential to actually potentially challenge YouTube one day. They really need to fix their interface, but if they can do that, they could really challenge YouTube. Right now, they're the number one live streaming platform for morning and afternoon shows, which we don't do, but they've already kind of beat YouTube there.
Yeah.
Also, they bought what was called locals. So
eventually we will have a locals once we can figure it out. And I've actually asked locals if there's a way for them to make the interface in Spanish. They said they're going to look into it. So that's also what stopped us a little bit from opening a locals full on, because it's only in English.
And plus, we're just kind of swamped. Yes. There's only two of us, and we can't make any more content.
We can't do everything.
Eventually, hopefully, we can hire an editor one day.
Yes, at least.
Okay, let's go into the next story. I think they've heard enough about us.
Yes. So Saw 11 officially pulled from release calendar. Another horror sequel takes its place. You put this in there.
Yeah, Saw really needs to start transitioning over to kind of a TV series. I think it's kind of played out as a movie series. And I think that there was the next story.
So The Strangers Chapter 2 will take its place.
That's what I was looking for.
Yes.
So yeah, The Strangers is a more upcoming series. It's more... it's not so repetitive. Every Saw movie seems to be much like the last. People are tired of it. Make it into a TV series at something. Maybe that will give it some fresh life. I don't think anybody really wants to see another Saw movie, but maybe I could be wrong.
I don't even remember what the last one I saw was.
Well, Saw originally started in Vancouver, and they were filming there. So, and the first one was really good. I did like it, but man, when you get to
the concept is very interesting.
When you get past number 4 or 5, it's like I've seen enough of that.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the concept, and out of all horror movies, I mean, it being mostly a body horror movie, I think being able to stay and to last as long as it has is, I mean, quite a testament to it. But
well, but it's become very equational. the way they write these scripts. Formulaic.
Yes.
And it comes from Lionsgate, I believe. And they do the same thing with Final Destination. They have this formula, and they repeat it. When you start repeating it 11 times, it's like, okay, it's time. It's about enough. So even if what was the new series called, or the new movie called? The Strangers 2. I seen Strangers 1. It was actually okay, but if they have a new formula, people haven't seen that formula as much. So I would prefer to see Strangers 2 than Saw 11. What happened?
No, I wanted to double check something. But
okay, and did we skip one story, which was Americans are now spending $69 a month on video streaming services?
Oh, yes, we did.
Okay, so
Let me find it.
This is an American-based story. You don't have to find it. We'll just talk about it.
Sure.
This is an American-based story, but what happens in American streaming kind of gauges for all the big corporations what they're going to do worldwide. So Americans are spending $69 on streaming services right now. That means they're having multiple streaming services, which I think is way overpriced. Personally, YouTube.
How much are cable packages?
That's what I was just going to say.
Okay.
It was cable packages used to be $100, but cable's dying, so they have to be cheaper now. They're probably around $69. But I primarily watch YouTube, so I don't know. But also, there's always deals coming up when these streaming services want to manipulate the figures for their quarterly reports. We recently seen this happen with Disney. Disney
offered
the Disney Hulu package for $2.99. I think it was last month, or maybe it's still going on in the States. Yeah.
But I think eventually it's just going to come crashing down. And the reason I also think why a lot of people are spending so much money on multiple streaming services is because you sign up for free, you leave your credit card in there, and then it just keeps charging you. So it looks good for them.
Did you cancel HBO?
No, I didn't cancel HBO.
Oh, my God.
I forgot.
So we signed up for HBO Max.
So watch whatever you want now.
To watch the Golden Globes.
We don't have time.
To watch the Academy
Oscars,
Awards. Yeah. Well, sorry, the Oscars.
It's the same thing.
And now we forgot to cancel it.
Yes.
I do not want HBO Max.
We did cancel Netflix. Because, we also don't have time to watch anything. We're mostly just watching news, YouTube, and then editing and doing all this things.
Now we're going to cancel HBO Max.
Yes, eventually.
This. Okay.
We'll watch it for this month.
So the next story was the Street Fighter.
Yes, Street Fighter removed from Sony release calendar beneath the storm shifts to July 2026 and renamed Shiver.
Yeah, this was this is from my time, and this was a huge video game in my time. I actually remember going to the actual physical arcade and playing with the joystick and things like this. This series actually transitioned well over to consoles as well, but I just don't know how popular it is in this day and age. Video games are dying, and fighting video games are dying even more so.
But there's also that factor, the nostalgia factor, and I think they can play into it a lot. Mario's still going strong, very strong with the whole nostalgia, and now that they have the parks and the new park in Universal and the one at Tokyo and etc.
Yeah, but Mario kind of transitioned over to the next generation, and every generation of kids plays Mario games. Street Fighter was a very specific niche generation. It had a couple generations that really, really liked the game. Other generations will know what it is, but it wasn't. I remember when the first Street Fighter movie came out with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I had to go see it. So at that time,
yourself.
It was the perfect time to release the Street Fighter movie. I'm very interested to see what the numbers for Street Fighter actually do, though. So. But it's been put on hold, so it's not going to matter. So how long until I see that movie?
It's not a movie. Video game.
Oh, it's a video game?
Yes.
Oh. Remove Sony release. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry. I was watching a lot of cancellations on movies today for the articles. Okay, and the next one is a movie.
Twister's sequel reportedly in development with Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones. Didn't watch the first one. Watch the original one. Watch Twister.
The original one was really good.
Terrified me.
This one was considered average. It was a success because
there was nothing else on.
And it had a lot of political drama behind it. Conservatives really got behind this movie to kind of send a message to liberals at the time. Yeah. And I don't know if it was as good as the box office said it was. So I'm not sure if we really need a
sequel. Nowadays, we need sequels for everything.
But the first one was amazing, and it was wonderfully cast.
There's creative bankruptcy in Hollywood. But the Storm Chasers are coming back once again. A sequel to Twister starring Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones is in development at Universal. And I guess this would also give Universal, more fodder to put stuff in their parks. They always like things and properties that they can expand upon.
It would make a good ride.
A good ride, and also during their whole Halloween Horror Nights, they could make it into a house. So keeping it within the family, let's just say, and expanding the property also gives them more chances to do more stuff with it. That's why all of these studios love to do sequels and prequels and etc., because it keeps the intellectual property in their hands.
Yeah, and I do remember when the sequel came out, it was getting a lot of buzz. On YouTube, real Storm Chasers videos were coming out, and man, some of those videos were absolutely spectacular. I have to admit,
yeah, it's pretty cool what they do.
It looked better than a movie because now they have high quality cameras.
Yes.
They're literally right next to the storm. One of the trucks got sucked up, and one of the people actually died, but
passed away.
Oh, passed away.
Not laughing about that. Laughing about him saying the word he's not supposed to.
But when you get storms in these big twisters, man, it looks spectacular when you're up close to it. And this footage is that's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go take a look. Okay, so let's talk about the next story, and it's Nintendo.
More video games. Oh, hold on. There we go. So, new Nintendo Direct expected this week. It's claimed. I have no idea what this is about.
Well, why don't you read a little bit to the audience?
Just a week before the full Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, that's a very long title, event on April 2nd, Nintendo is expected to hold a separate event sometime this week. That's according to well-known leaker Nate the Hate. In a post on social media, he said he's heard that there's a Nintendo presentation this week. It'll be a Direct.
Yeah, and we know a few people that work for Nintendo, so...
oh, yeah, we do. I forgot about that.
Well, what I was going to say about that, when the headline said Nintendo Direct, I was like, what's Nintendo Direct?
What is Nintendo
I thought it was
Direct?
Nintendo Switch. That's why I wanted you to read the article.
Nintendo Switch 2 Direct.
Yeah, so
I'm guessing
it's new Switch that's coming out, which he said was coming out.
It has to do something, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it also has to do with connectivity. I don't know. I've never liked video games.
But I will say the Nintendo Switch is the least capable console, but it's the most well-designed console because you can take it on the go and you just plug it into your TV and things like this. So the fact is PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox are really peaking out on the capabilities they can do. So Nintendo's slowly catching up to them with their graphic capabilities, even though they're not quite there. The actual functionality of the controllers and the way the system's designed is far more enjoyable, I think. Because most people would just play on a PC otherwise. Mm-hmm. If they want the best graphics.
Yeah. And I also, right now when it's like releases and stuff, I did hear, because I've been, following a lot of the Snow White stuff, but thanks to Film Thread and also that Park Place, apparently there is a rumor that tomorrow there will be a big announcement about Marvel, something related to Marvel. So I just want to put it out there. I have no idea what it is. Even the guys that were talking about it didn't know what it is, but they said that it might be casting or it might be another thing coming out, movie, show, who knows, but another character-based thing.
Marvel's so overplayed. I'm sure we'll report
I used to love Marvel.
I'm sure we'll report about it, but yes. I couldn't see anything that would really make me care that much. It was much like the Disney Star Wars series is just so overplayed. They can't even sell it. The series is like bankrupt. But that's why when I watched the Andor trailer today, I was actually crazily surprised that it looked so good.
You did watch the one with Baby Yoda.
The Mandalorian. But even by the end of that series, it was like I watched season 1 and that was it. Season 1 was good, I will admit, and it did have a good director for it.
Yeah, for me, it's just like they ruined him to such a point I have no interest in even trying anymore.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
And we got 2 more stories here before we head over to the Green Monster.
Waymo plans to bring its driverless taxis to Washington in 2026. That seems like a terrible idea. Because we've seen what happens with other driverless taxis and cars. In San Francisco, they started getting beat up by people.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, especially when there's protests in the middle of the street and things like this.
Especially in Washington, yeah.
These driverless cars aren't going to know what to do. But I was talking to some people the other day about driverless vehicles in Mexico City, and in Mexico City there is no way there will ever be a driverless car. The streets are just too chaotic and
full of holes.
I watch how they train these cars, and they need to train them on very, what would you say, well-designed, quiet streets. Even busy streets, eventually they'll learn, but when streets are chaos like they are in Mexico City, there's just no way.
Yeah, but not just Mexico City, like India. Yeah. I'm thinking Italy, all of these cities where people just drive, I mean, I'd say better than in Canada, because in Canada, because everybody's trying to follow the rules, everybody ends up not knowing what to do, and then they end up crashing. Here, at least, I feel like we have better reflexes.
Yeah.
Like we innately know how to stop, when to stop, etc.
Well, when I first moved, because I used to have a motorcycle in Canada, and that was no problem driving there, even though it was cold. But I'm so glad I didn't bring it here. I'm glad I sold it, because I would not want to be driving a motorcycle in the streets of Mexico.
No. And if you do, please be very, very careful.
Okay, we got one more story here, though.
No, that was it. Okay.
Oh, no, the 23andMe files.
Yeah, so I talked about this yesterday in Spanish. I think we didn't touch on it in English, but yes, 23andMe just filed for bankruptcy. You should delete your data now, which is what I said. But yeah, this is just slightly terrifying.
Well, a lot of people
thought
this was a way for the government to collect people's DNA and data and things like this. And there had been some documents that came out. I don't want to talk too much about that, because I haven't dug too deep into it.
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing was that I wrote down on this was the co-founder currently resigned. Did you know about this?
Yes, the lady.
Do you know why she resigned?
I just mentioned it yesterday that she resigned. Where's her name? Wajiki.
Yeah, so she resigned because she wants to buy the company.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'd be a conflict of interest otherwise. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Also, maybe they're just declaring bankruptcy and then selling it to the current CEO as a money laundering scam as well.
And I mean, I did mention yesterday that, what's his face? James O'Keefe from O'Keefe Media Group, he had an undercover report, and he had got somebody, I forget from what department, but from some department, saying that 23andMe had been involved with, data distribution. And there's also been a lot of breaches and leaks to the website itself.
Well, there was other companies that were like 23andMe gathering DNA data for the Chinese Communist Party within the States. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they were doing it worldwide.
Yes.
And I'm glad I had never done one of those tests. And I remember when they first came out, I was kind of like, oh, maybe I should.
No, it always to me, it always seemed like a very dumb idea.
Yeah, but I used to be very politically naive before the pandemic. Let's just say it. We're going to the green monster now.
Okay, hold on. Oh, it worked. Okay.
Okay. Oh, do we have any comments before we go?
No, we had a lot of comments earlier, so thank you so much. Especially thank you, Rafa, for your 50 peso super chat.
Oh, thank you.
You're very kind. You're very nice. I said it because I was talking in Spanish, so I just said it in Spanish. But yes, so we're trying out this whole, clipping the Spanish section out. We'll see how that keeps working.
Well, we're going to skip today because we're a little bit behind on the other editing videos. But and also when I was watching you do your Spanish portion, I had an idea to make the editing a lot easier.
Okay.
So I'll run it by you after today's show.
Okay. But yes, once again, it's just those two. So thank you for all your patience. Thank you for all your support as well. And we will head over, as you call it, the Green Monster. The link is in the description. I call it RUMBLE. But yes, follow us over there. We'll talk more about
politics. We got a ton of politics today.
Yes, so there is a lot to discuss. So follow us there. Thank you so much for being here. And let me know if the stream pops back up, because it's been happening on YouTube that the stream restarts itself for some reason. So just let us know on Rumble if that happens. On the Green Monster if it happens. But
try to repost one of our old live streams earlier today from. Yeah,
YouTube's been weird, but yes. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll see you there. Let me try to end it. There we go.
Okay, let's open the Rumble here.